Hello and welcome along to another episode of this Cricket 19 career with me, Daniel. It's episode 45 and today we're back in the very next first class game. Our second as captain in the Sheffield Shield, and we're trying to get ourselves out of a hole in Australia as things haven't gone quite as well as they did in the first match. In that one we were obviously moving along quite nicely. We were doing well as we left the action last time, and unfortunately that's not remained the case on this occasion. Despite a relatively decent first innings personally, we are in a little bit of trouble as a side, and we'll go and take a look at the scorecard in a moment to show you why we've come back slightly earlier than planned. But firstly, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow the series, and for those of you that watched the final episode of my Snooker 19 and Torquay United FM 19 series last week. We're just a week or so away from the FM 20 beta, and then we'll be going with daily Football Manager content again. But in the meantime, we've still got our 2 episodes a week from Cricket 19, as well as a couple of specials relating to our Torquay save, so keep your eyes peeled for those over the coming week or so to keep the content flowing on the channel. But if we go and have a look at the scorecard quickly to see just how much of a pickle we're in. We're currently in at 27 for 1 in the second innings, and you can tell by the fact that it's 4:30 on day 2, things probably aren't going so well. Darcy Shaw not having the same success at first class level as he has been in the T20 Big Bash in recent years. He's been a superstar player, and in fact as I'm recording this he was picked up in the auction for the new 100 tournament yesterday. Big money for him for that, but he's struggling in the longer forms in this one. In terms of the match as a whole, the reason we're back is because we are in a world of trouble. We made 187 as a side in the first innings, and we put on 66 of those runs, over a third of them scored by us, and Darcy Shaw obviously getting a half century there. Between us we put on about 120, and that's nearly 2/3 of the runs in the innings, so the other 9 didn't do particularly well. Then Victoria made us look absolutely awful. Marcus Harris, the Australian Test opener, getting a century in the first innings. They made it to 458 for 6 before declaring, meaning we needed over 270 runs just to avoid an innings defeat, and with only 27 on the board, we're now in to join David Warner at number 3. We trail by 244, and over the next couple of episodes we're going to desperately try and stay in the game, and although we know we're not going to be able to win this one, we've got to try and make Victoria bat again. The plan is that we're going to play a realistic innings. Of course you know that we've stepped up to hard legendary difficulty, making it really much harder to score, and although we did score quickly in the first innings, that's just because we were running out of partners quickly. So in this one we're going to be very measured, try and take the game as long as possible, and we want to try and bat for a day or 2 here to give ourselves a chance at trying to nick the draw. So it won't be the most enthralling, exciting, quick playing cricket, but we are going to try and get the proper challenge, and that's the thing I'm really about in this series, is trying to get that realistic edge at test level and trying to produce a good defensive innings. We want to be Alistair Cook as an England opener, and we've certainly got a chance to produce his style innings today. So let's go and get back into the first ball at the crease. We've got a chance to see off the day with David Warner. We'll try and play through to the end of the day and see if we can survive to the start of day 3. Okay, we're back to face the first ball to Jackson Coleman, taking a wicket in just his 3rd over of the match. We go into our usual principles in this one. Anything outside off we're going to defend or leave. Anything short we're not going to play an attacking stroke to. We're only going to flick ones to the leg side, which I know is our favoured shot, but we're not getting too many of them on this hardest difficulty, which is making the scoring rate a bit slower. So we might have to play the proper defensive knock here, as that one flies past the bat. It looked pretty straight, but the timing was late. Jackson Coleman getting loads of pace on the ball. So an early scare, and we can see why we're struggling here. How they got 450 I don't know, and we're really going to regret that first inning score, as it was a chance for us to build a decent total. But we're defending the rest of this over quite well, and we're going to have to put in a stern defensive effort. So probably not the freest scoring episode you'll see, but you're certainly going to see plenty of defensive action. 2 balls left in the over for Coleman. Here he comes again with a short ball. We get out the way very quickly, and we stick to our disciplined approach for now. Final ball of the over, extra slipping and the man on the leg side. This one's straight though, so we can edge it away, and we've got to hog the strike as much as possible here. We've run out of partners in the first innings where we didn't take that approach, and we finished the over with a single to get us off the mark and keep us on strike. The spinner John Holland in at the other end, I think I called him a seamer earlier actually, but he's coming over the wicket of the left-hander and he's bowling wide outside off stump. That means we can leave it and there's no risk to our wicket, and the longer we do that, the better chance we've got of getting a draw. 1 off 6 then. You can get used to this sort of defensive action. This one's quite straight and we try to play at it and it narrowly misses the stumps. Thankfully that extra bounce in the pitch is helping us here. Just 1 ball left in our first over against the spinner. We've been defending really astutely. Most of them have been outside off like that, so we've just been able to lead them and stay pretty safe. 1 off 11 after nearly 2 overs here, and David Warner's going to be facing the next ball. Well, Warner's made it to 20, he scored a few off that over, 8 if I make it correctly. We're going back to defensive mode against Holland, and I'd imagine we'll be back for the last ball to reflect on another maiden impending. Third ball of the over, it's a much straighter delivery. We try to play it in, it beats the edge. Poor shot choice, there was space down the ground, but I just hate playing through the offside against the spinners. Another scare and we're starting to struggle here. Just 1 off 14 balls, and as much as I'm talking a good game, I'm still losing my discipline. This time we connect perfectly though and get a single to our favoured leg side. Down in that square region we get another run. David Warner will face the rest of the spinners over. Well, David Warner hasn't got the memo. A single to bring us back on strike for the last ball. We're desperately trying to stay off strike to the spinner, and we defend it away to finish off the over. I'd love to be able to interact with the batsman at the other end, the AI controlled one, just to say stay on strike, I don't want to face the spinner, so you could work in a proper sort of partnership. As it is Warner scoring pretty quickly though, 25 off 34 now, and if he can edge us towards the total, which makes Victoria bat again, we can eat up deliveries to make sure it takes as long as possible. First ball of the over for spin again, and we managed to see it through to the keeper. Last ball of the over, and look how economical Holland's been. Just 6 conceded off almost 4 overs, and again we're forced to defend the last ball, just outside off, and another maiden's been played out. We're now 2 off 22 deliveries, and you can see we're in no rush to get going. A bit like Ben Stokes at Headingley, although I doubt we're going to come to life in the second half. And we're facing the quick bowler in Patterson now. We've got 2 deliveries to face from him. Thankfully he's coming over the wicket though, which does sort of suit us to play our favourite shot, and I thought for a moment we were going to beat the infielder there, but he just cuts it off to prevent a second run. Well, David Warner's into the 30s and we're just trying to defend here. Outside off with forced defensive. John Holland is really starting to worry us. We cannot get him away, we don't want to take a risk on the offside, and he's not giving us anything to hit to our favoured zone. This is the sort of test we expected from first class cricket. We're really enjoying it despite really struggling, and it's what I've been waiting for so many months. Well, I'm trying not to worry you with all of it. We're just showing the first and the last ball of the over against Holland now. We're just leaving every ball as they're miles outside off stump. And again we defend the rest of the over. It's another maiden for the spinner. A decent over and we've managed to stay in. And at this stage that's all that really matters. Warner on 36, we're on 3. But we've managed to face nearly 30 deliveries now. We're back to face Holland again as our strike rate will be 10 if we don't score off this one. And we don't as we just leave it through to the keeper. We're not changing our approach for anything. Halfway through another Holland over. Oh, we've tried to play at one and we're bowled. That is absolutely horrendous. We got through it so early. Look at the shot, it was the right one, but we played it so early. And it went through and crashed into off stump. And our defensive approach really hasn't worked there. We're out for 3, I think. I don't think we scored any more than that. 33 deliveries, and we failed our team so greatly there. Yes, we did the best in the first innings, but unfortunately Bancroft's going to be next out. It still says my name there for some reason, not quite sure of the reason, so we're just going to cancel that and let the rest of the innings get on with itself. Cameron Bancroft is in next, and we need some of this star-studded lineup to save us. Well, you've seen the arrogance go wrong there. We talked at the start of this episode about a series where we would try and stay in here. We'd be able to build through the next day or two, try and save the day for the Western Warriors. But Western Australia have lost by an innings and 50 runs, as our teammates have failed to a miserable total again. David Warner got 86 this time, next best is 34 for Josh Inglis, and the pitch was definitely much harder in the second innings, but we didn't do enough the first time round. We've got a really batting heavy lineup here, and it continues to fail, so I'm not sure what else we can do really. We've got some of the best batsmen in world cricket and none of them are really delivering. Darcy Short did well in the first innings, David Warner in the second, so they are delivering in dribs and drabs, but we're never getting more than 3 or 4 at once, and all of the others that are failing very heavily. Today we fall into that group, but we don't often do so, and again it's John Holland who's done the damage. 3 wickets in the second innings after 5 in the first, and Jackson Coleman with 5 this time around, having got 2 2 himself in the first innings. So for us, we were bowled by Coleman in the first innings of the match, and in the second innings it was Holland the spinner who got us out for a miserly total of 3. We didn't have a bowl at all in this match. We're focusing early in Australia at getting used to the new batting settings. Of course it's a massive step up, which does replicate going overseas for the first time. John Holland unsurprisingly is man of the match, although it does give us a chance now to go and look at the career hub. So we'll go and take a look at the last game in a bit more detail, plan when we're going to be back next time out, and hopefully we'll be able to do a bit better than today, where we struggled to a terrible total when trying a different approach that didn't really work. So maybe we're not quite ready to be Alistair Cook yet, and I think that might put the England selectors off. Okay, we're back at the career hub and we've skipped forward to picking our side for the next game. I am going to look at it, reflect and make a few changes, but I'll go and show you some of the batting ratings for our players just so you can see how good they're supposed to be. We've got a double header against New South Wales, then 2 more games to come later in the season before we head over to Pakistan for the T20 plate over there. Something we can look forward to on this new difficulty. I'd imagine it will be a lot harder to time shots. That's what obviously cost us today, and we dropped down to the middle of the table with 1 defeat to add to our first time victory. So let me quickly go in here and show you the standard of some of our batsmen. David Warner's batting rating's 100. One of the things that has been a bit of an issue in his career actually is how quickly people improve. Darcy Short is 84, but he's a very good spinner as well. We're 49, so technically the worst in the team. Bancroft 100, Inglis 100, Ashton Turner 90, Mitch Marsh 74, Kadir 56, Kelly 53, Richardson 48 and Paris 35. So thinking about county level where we have 3 or 4 batsmen in the 20s at the end, it really is slightly different there, but maybe I have to go a bit more bat heavy again because the bowlers don't seem to be contributing at all. So maybe we'll have to think about changes coming up and perhaps even think about dropping ourselves, or do we come back into open and drop Darcy Short? He's not contributed much with the ball at all, and with the bat he's been a little bit inconsistent at this level. So we'll go and sort that out after and worry about that off camera, but let's quickly go and have a look at our career player. Of course we want to see how we're getting on. Statistically, I want to see if that's had a negative impact on our selection status. Of course, we were expecting selection for the Tour of Ireland ODI series, and we were looking at the Test series against Ireland too. Now we're very close. I'm not sure if we were better than that before. I think it hasn't changed at all. So everything's pretty much the same. One bad performance shouldn't change it, of course, but we still got no chance in the IPL or against Australia in the T20 series. We've got a chance in Pakistan to prove we're a top player for that, but I'm sure we'll have to learn that game again now since we've gone up in career difficulty. That's going to make things a little bit harder, and our average has been harmed by our performance today. So not the best day at the office for us. If we have a look at our overall player, in terms of skills we're really coming along quite nicely, an overall rating of 54, but our control and footwork is very good. It's just that timing we haven't quite got right yet. Moving up in difficulties, you expect that to happen. Moving overseas for the first time, playing in new competitions, different conditions regularly, you're always going to have these obstacles to overcome. The most important thing is how we respond to them in the next few games, and of course I'll be trying even harder to succeed. We had the right approach, we were trying to be defensive today, but in the end we just went a little bit too far and got hasty when we did get one we could play at. So working on discipline is something we've got to do, otherwise we're not going to succeed abroad. But we'll be back for one of those 4 first class games. We'll try and play through at least 1 or 2 off camera, and in 2 episodes from now we'll have the T20 tournament in Pakistan, our first big T20 franchise tournament abroad, something else we can look forward to and another milestone in this career, and then hopefully we'll have international honours not far around the corner. But if you did enjoy this episode and seeing an almighty failure at first class level, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Of course we did so well in the first match and it all went wrong in this one, probably deserved it after being so arrogant. It leaves our side in mid-table, 1 victory and 1 defeat since starting our captaincy, and in round 3 we've really got to try and bounce back and make sure we get back into the top end of the table. At the end of this we want to say that we've captained our side well. The first time we've been given that responsibility at this sort of level. We haven't done it since we were playing for our club side Leeds, and that was of course 2 or 3 years ago. So fingers crossed we'll have an upturn in form soon. We will make some slight adjustments to the lineup, and we'll be back in form by the time you come around next, and hopefully we'll score at least double figures. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content as soon as the beta's released in a week or so's time. We've got 5 episodes a week from our new long-term story and 2 episodes a week from our beta save. We announced the clubs will be managing in both of those in recent episodes over the last few weeks, so make sure you go back and check out our FM20 plans playlist for all the details of the content on the channel. There's also a vote in one of the episodes which allows you to help shape some of the videos you'll see, so please do go back and have your say there. I'm really looking forward to getting going with FM20. The 2 episodes a week from this series will continue. They'll be every Tuesday and Saturday at midday. We'll be going on long term until we make our England debut and hopefully get to play in an Ashes series. And our Snooker 19 career finished last Friday as we mentioned, so if you haven't seen it yet, do go back and catch up with the final episode. It certainly was an important moment in the series as we tried to complete our objectives on the final day. And then similarly, our Torquay United series from FM19 finished on Sunday. We've got a couple more specials to come over the next week or so, but that was the big one on Sunday, the final episode of the standard series. 19 years of hard work, and how did it finish? Go and find out to make sure you're up to date. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support of the series. I really do appreciate you following the content on the channel, and I hope to see you next time for another important episode as we try to get back to winning ways and scoring more heavily at first class level.